Hola from Pamplona, Spain. So let's just start off right off the bat. Let's talk money, honey. Let's talk about finances. I feel like when people are applying to teach English abroad, the #1 deterrent is the salary. I understand it almost scared me off when I applied to my program and I saw what I would be making per month. I told my sister and she quite literally gasped. She was like, "You're going to be living under the poverty line making that in a Shea." And I was like, I know, but like a ton of people do it. So maybe it's possible, you know, I need to ask around. So I started messaging people on Instagram, on Facebook, reading blogs, watching vlogs like this, and I found out that it's actually possible. So I'm here teaching in Spain through a program called Meddeas. I work about 23 hours a week and I get paid a salary through them. Most of the programs, there are a ton of programs in Spain to choose from, and most of them, but especially Meddeas, they are very transparent about what your salary is going to be when you're here. So it's kind of good because that way you can plan for it, you can budget, you can kind of really think if it's possible for you to live making that amount of money. Just as a disclaimer, me personally, I like nice things. I like to buy new outfits, I like to eat out, I like to go out with friends, I like to travel, and I can say that I've been able to do all of those things on my current budget. You know, I've had to take a few notches down on my online shopping, but overall, it's been very, very doable for me. So if you're even lower maintenance than I am, I don't think you'll have any problems. But I wanted to kind of compare living in the United States to living in Spain, because I feel like just initially that's what we do. Automatically we think, well, I would make this in the United States, but I would make this in Spain. Obviously, you know, that's way lower. But we're not really thinking about the cost of living and the differences in those things. So I got my United States numbers from my sister. She lives in Montgomery, Alabama, and we live very similar lifestyles in the things we like to do and the way we like to live. And then my numbers are based off of living in Pamplona, Spain for the last 6 months. So I've kind of been through the fall and the winter and seen all of the money that I would need to spend there, and also while traveling, buying things, eating out and things like that. So just as like a little disclaimer, obviously Montgomery, Alabama and Pamplona, Spain are going to be, they're small, they're probably similar size. They're smaller towns, they're smaller cities. So they're going to be a little bit lower than what you would be living in Barcelona or Madrid, or in the United States in, you know, Atlanta or in Nashville. But I would actually say that Montgomery and Pamplona are pretty similar in the cost of living, or comparatively to the countries that they're in. So just kicking off the bat, I only pay 335 euros per month for my rent. And I live right near downtown. I do have 2 roommates, but I have my own bedroom. I only share a bathroom with one other girl, and we have a very spacious living room, very spacious kitchen, in-unit washer, and in-unit dishwasher. So very, very nice apartment, and one of the best spots in town, only $335. My sister does live on her own in a 1-bedroom apartment in a historic district. So kind of bear that in mind. But I would think that would be where I would live if I were to live in Montgomery. So that's kind of the way my process is working. And she pays about $900 in rent every month. So then going to utilities, all in all, I pay about 75 euros per month on utilities. That's going to vary, especially with the changing of the weather. We don't have air conditioning in our unit just because we didn't need it. We do have gas heating, which is pretty expensive. It's about 65 euros, so it makes up a big chunk of what we spend each month on utilities. But we have to stay warm. We don't want to get hypothermia. And it is very, very cold in Pamplona, so definitely well worth it to spend on that. And then we spend about 10 to 15 euros per month on water and electricity. So very, very cheap. My sister spends about $165 all in all. Kind of the same thing. Her gas is a little expensive. She lives with like in-unit, like she doesn't have central heating, so that kind of is why it's a little more expensive for her as well. But that is a difference of almost $100 dollars. They're the same in my mind, which is not good because the euro is worth a little bit more. So when I see something that's like 25 euros, I'm like, 25 bucks? That's cheap. It's really not 25, but whatever. Anyways, I digress. So from there, Mary spends about $150 on groceries, $150, where to my 75 euros a month on groceries. Every time I go to check out at the grocery store, and I usually only buy for like a week at a time, I am just like floored by the amount that they tell me. I'm like, what? Only 20 euros for my whole breakfast and my whole dinner all week? That's insane. I do get lunch at school, so that kind of cuts down on that a little bit. And then Mary Beth pays a car payment, and she pays about $60 for gas. I don't have a car here, so I take the bus everywhere, and that is only 25 euros for unlimited rides all throughout the city. Come on, you can't beat that. And then for cell phone and Wi-Fi, she spends about $60 on Wi-Fi and about $72 on her phone bill. But she did finance her phone on the phone bill, so I think that's why it's a little bit more. I spend 28 euros for Wi-Fi and phone per month. We're with Vodafone, and they had a really good deal for 3 people. Me and my roommate signed up together. So, just off the bat, significantly cheaper to live in Spain, which kind of helps when you're thinking about budgeting with that salary. It stretches a lot farther than you think it would. So from there, I budget about, like I said, I do like nice things. So I budget about 400 euros per month for other expenses, which if that's not food and living, that's like a new outfit, maybe a little trip to Madrid or Barcelona for the weekend, nights out with friends, you know, going to get drinks with them or eating out with them, getting pinchos, going to museums, things, you get it, you get the point. But I am able to keep that budget, but just kind of thinking on that mindset, if you're going out in the United States, a beer is going to be about $8, whereas it's going to be about 3 euros for a glass of beer in a restaurant here. If you're going to the grocery store, you're going to spend about $15 on a bottle of wine. And in Spain, you can get one for €1, and you can get a really good bottle for 5 euros. So, and then when traveling, you know, you're gonna spend about $23 or 23 euros per night at your hostel. And granted, you are sharing a room, but that's compared to about $100 a night at a hotel, even if it's just the Holiday Inn or something like that, because hostels are not as common in the United States, and frankly, I don't think they're as regulated. So, and then for a nice dinner out, with drinks and like an appetizer, maybe dessert, I'd say you're spending probably about $50 on a nice dinner out in Alabama, compared to a 23 euro prefix dinner with a whole like bottle of wine, appetizer, first, second, and dessert. So, significantly cheaper. I don't know if that helped. That was just kind of me throwing a bunch of numbers at you, but I think that if the budget is what's concerning you from not moving to Spain, I think you kind of need to think about it and just kind of crunch some numbers, sit down. Hopefully this will help you a little bit, because personally, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. But I don't know, yeah, it's just we forget about the cost of living and how much cheaper it is to live in places abroad. So, thanks for listening, tagging along. I don't know if this was even remotely helpful, but maybe it'll kind of help you out when you're thinking about your choices next year. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment, message me on Instagram, or you can even comment on one of my TikToks if you want to. Thanks for watching.